everybody, it's Tuesday, March 16th, and you're watching The Great Lost Rewatch. Today we're talking about the Season 6 episode, Dr. Linus. Today's episode was about Ben Linus. Imagine that. In Flash Sideways world, he's a doctor. Well, I mean, he's a doctor of history. He teaches European history in high school. As part of his teachings, we see him talk to Alex in their tutoring session about the East Indian Trading Company, which links us back to the island because of the Black Rock. It was probably part of the East Indian slave trade. Most people think that Richard Alpert was a slave on the boat. I'm not sure if he was a slave necessarily. I mean, he could have been if he was a prisoner and he was being taken somewhere to be enslaved. But probably he was a slaver. Wouldn't that be interesting if Ben had been, or if Richard in his life way back in like the 1600s had been done something, was imprisoned, and then put on this boat to go and be a slave in the New World or something, and they happened to crash on this island. That would be really interesting for his character. There are also posters of Vasco da Gama and Christopher Columbus in his classroom. Also people that tried to sail around the world. And a lot of people have been picking apart his talking about Napoleon Bonaparte and his time on the island of Elba. This island where he was exiled, he tried to get the people to follow him and revolt, which is kind of like Ben. And then he eventually does go back to Europe, and then later in his life he's exiled to a different island where he dies. The book that Ben finds in Sawyer's stash on the beach is called Benjamin Disraeli, Justice and Truth in Action, which is not actually a book. It's like a prop that they made that up, which is weird. They don't usually make books up. But it ties us back to Alice in Wonderland because the artist for the Alice in Wonderland books, the original artist, based some of his drawings of the man in white paper. I don't know, I'm not very familiar with Alice in Wonderland, on Disraeli for the book Through the Looking Glass. Benjamin Disraeli was a British Prime Minister, I guess. I like that in the Jorge Garcia podcast, he talks about how he was going to try to insert a line into his speech where he goes, when he's asking Richard if he's a Terminator, if he's from the future, and he says no, and then Hurley says vampire really quick. He actually added that. That was an ad-lib line, and he just like, in the podcast, he's like, I'm just going to try to throw it in there, and they won't use it, but then they ended up actually using it. How awesome is that? I did like the stuff between Jack and Alpert in the Black Rock, where Jack's like, it's not gonna work, it's not gonna go off. Jack's grown a pair. He's really kind of, as opposed to last season where he was kind of sitting back, not doing anything. Now he is taking charge of his destiny and, you know, that sort of thing. Anyway, thank you guys for all the birthday wishes yesterday. It was very nice. I was gonna record this yesterday, but my cold was even worse then. Sorry, this isn't a very long one. I haven't had a whole lot of time to research stuff. So, hopefully, tonight's episode recon will be awesome, and I will be able to give you all sorts of cool information about it. This weekend. I will try to get an episode out earlier. I'm on spring break this week, so I should have time. And I will see you guys later. Bye.
We're gonna need to watch that again.
And welcome the return of the Bad Hair Day hat! Yay!